It reminded Rosalie.
Okay.
Okay.
Dalit Mai.
Yeah, I'm reading from the little bit above that. Shireen Mai, Gul Mai, and Dalit Mai were the three older women of Baba's early women's group who played a crucial role in his work. Mehru explained. One was Baba's natural mother, Shireen Mai. One his spiritual mother, Gul Mai, and one the mother of his beloved, Shireen Mai. Each, because of her relationship with Baba, had many difficulties to face with the outside world. Baba held these three close ones in great regard, and in his deference to them, he never ordered them to do anything, to do something, but instead persuaded them to want to do what he wanted of them. Dalit Mai got along with Gul Mai. But later, when Baba's mother and Mani came into the picture more, Gul Mai was not called so frequently, according to Adi Sr. Shireen Mai was jealous of Gul Mai, he stated. She harassed and harassed her. She was jealous of the spiritual mother. When Shireen Mai would come to Meherabad, she used to fight to such a degree that she drove Gul Mai away. She absolutely hated her. She wouldn't like to see the sight of her. She was extremely jealous, but she liked me very much.
Who's saying this? Dalit Mai?
Yeah, looks like. Wait a minute, no.
Isn't that Adi Senior saying that?
Yeah, I think it must be. Yeah.
Oh, it's Mehru. Mehru explained.
Mehru.
No, you're right. It is Adi Senior.
Oh.
It's in the middle there. It has brings in Adi. Shireen Mai was so jealous, he stated. Okay. When Shireen Mai would come to Meherabad, she used to fight to such a degree that she drove Gul Mai away. She absolutely hated her. She wouldn't like to see the sight of her. She was extremely jealous, but she liked me very much. I guess that's, who's talking? I don't even know. I don't think that's Adi. She liked me very much. I don't know. It's her child. Shireen Mai was so jealous of Gul Mai. She would even take her necklace or other jewelry and keep it. She would remark how attractive it was and then ask for it. Gul Mai would bring savory dishes for Baba as well. Shireen Mai would say, "Throw it out, Merag. It will give you a stomach ache. Your stomach is so sensitive anyway." Baba would say that he wished to eat it, but Shireen Mai would counter, "What do you know? You're a child." And Shireen Mai herself would throw away the dish. Wow. Many times Adi Senior saw Baba go to Gul Mai, fold his hands and say, "Forgive me for my mother's actions." Mehra supported Adi's views, but commented, Shireen Mai and Gul Mai were jealous of each other, but they did speak to each other. Shireen Mai was like a child. If she was well dressed in a nice sari, she felt happy, but she didn't know much English. But she was sharp-witted. She used to say she was glad she was born in India and not in Iran, so people wouldn't refer to her as a jungle, uncouth Irani from a peasant country. She was very proud of the fact that she was born a month after her parents arrived in India from Persia. She loved India. She was also the kind of person that if a train left at 7 p.m., she was at the station by 5:30. She was a very practical woman. For example, whenever she was shopping for some material, she would carry a damp cloth in her purse to rub a corner of the material to test its color fastness. Shirima was a good raconteur and would narrate stories of peculiar people in their lane and amusing things that had happened when Baba was a child. Once she told them about a time when she was sitting in the gallery of a dilapidated theater with mostly Muslim women in burqas, robes, who did not want to be seen by men. Halfway through the drama, the balcony collapsed. It was very serious. All the commotion, many injured, but Shireen Mai made light of the incident by describing the Muslim women falling into the laps of the men seated below. Shireen Mai loved going to the theater. As there was no cinema then in Pune, she would not miss a good play ever, said Mani. Once, when Baba was a babe in arms, she went to the theater. Suddenly, there was a shout of fire. Everyone ran out of the theater out of panic, though it proved to be a false alarm. Shireen Mai ran out too, cradling Merwan in her arms. A janitor glanced at her and then quickly looked away, blushing. Shireen Mai was confounded. She had been breastfeeding Merwan in her arms and had been so distraught she forgot to cover herself. Shireen Mai was very young and so embarrassed. She related that she did not visit that theater again for 3 months. Baba knew his mother loved him, said Mehera, although it would be years before she acknowledged his divinity. She used to say, wherever the royal elephant roams in the forest, the name of its owner will always be known. The elephant may wander, but everyone will recognize the one who owns it and give that person respect. What she meant was, as Baba was her son, her name would always be remembered and appreciated too. And now, enter Colonel Irani,
Yes.
Mehera's uncle. Colonel Irani. On 17th October 1925, Diwali was celebrated at Meherabad, with the men and women Mandali giving Meher Baba a ceremonial bath. In a scene reminiscent of Jesus having his feet bathed and anointed by Mary of Bethany, this rare privilege was also allowed to those coming for Baba's darshan. And a considerable amount of money was spent on perfumes and fragrant soaps. Later, as a part of the program, a singing competition was to be held. One of the men, Kaka Shahane, lived in the family quarters in Arangawan after Rustam and Franey left, and his daughter, Shanta, 15, visited the women's quarters from time to time. Shanta had a melodious voice and was eager to enter the competition. The women coached Mani, who had come to Meherabad for the holiday, to enter also. Small Portia, too, would have been a good entry with her talent for singing. But the women did not think Baba would have approved if one of them entered, as it was too public a program. Khorshid, who had received private singing lessons, taught Mani the tune of a Gujarati song she had learned as a child. The competition was held on the platform in front of Sai Darbar, the large building erected for such occasions, and the women had been permitted to attend. We were all very excited about it, said Mehera. Mani was to sing a nice song with Baba's name in it. It was the first time someone had put Baba's name into a song. Something about give your love to Baba. We were sure she would win first prize. She wore clean iron clothes. Shanta sang a song by Kabir, and her technique was good. Mani, the youngest contestant at 7, went next. Baba and the Manjali were the judges. They liked Mani's song, but gave Shanta first prize. She won a silver tray and a powder box. Mani took second prize. Another singing program was held on it. She loved music with small Khorshid. She was having her period, and as was the usual practice, she was supposed to stay in one place and rest. Since visitors were present, however, Khorshid did not know where to go or what to do. She informed Gustaji through Dalatmai, and he told her to have a bath and then sit for meditation. Baba happened to come and saw her meditating, and knowing that she was having her period, he said, "You shouldn't meditate now." For a punishment, he told her to take a cooking pot, place it over her head, and stand in the corner. Other women were also meditating, including Dalatmai. Mani was running about trying to get some attention and disturbing Dalatmai and the others. When Khorshid was made to stand in the corner with the pot on her head, Mani had fun teasing her.
Do you want to read the sidebar?
Yeah. The year before, when they had first come to Meherabad, Baba had given Mehera the following verses in Hindi by the poet and perfect master Kabir to memorize. Once and for all, make the resolve that everything is God's and nothing is mine. Let that be your resolve. In me, there is nothing of mine. Whatever there is yours. Having made over to you what is yours, what concern have I with any of it? Yeah, I lost my place in the book. Oh, well.
I think you read that then.
No, I didn't have that sidebar in the book.
Oh, you didn't have it?
No. Okay, let's say course you receive. We said that. Excited. Okay. At the bottom here. Other women were also meditating, including Dalatmai. Mani was running about trying to get some attention and disturbing Dalatmai and the others. When Corset was made to stand in the corner with the pot on her head, Monty had fun teasing her. Laugh now, Corset told her, but just wait. Your time will come for getting her period. Baba saw Monty teasing Corset and disturbing Dalatmai and the others' meditation, and made her too stand in the corner with the bucket on her head. Monty was a precocious child, bright and witty, but also very innocent. Once, when someone asked her what she was going to be when she grew up, she studied the person and thought, how stupid can you be? And then replied, why, an old woman, of course. At home, Mani slept in the same bed as her mother, and Sharima was always strict with her. One night, Mani wet the bed, knowing her mother would scold her. She sat up in bed and tried to fan the spot dry. She fell asleep holding the fan, but when her mother found her like this, she only laughed. Once, when Mani was visiting Meherabad and staying in the post office, the same thing happened. She was worried that the others would scold her, but her sister-in-law, Big Corset, said not to worry, she would clean it up. Mani could not believe how understanding and nice everyone was about it. Oftentimes, when Mani visited them, Mera taught her the ABCs. Mani was attending the Dastur school, the same one where Baba had gone, but Mera suggested to Sharimai, why don't you send Mani to the convent school, where she will learn English? It will be good for her. Since at that time, Mani did not know a word of English. Wow. But was she 7? We have 7 or what?
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay. Sharimai acted on the suggestion and transferred Mani to the convent school. During the first week that Mani was there, the teacher asked her to go outside and bring in a leaf. Mani went outside and brought back a stone. The other children laughed and teased her, but she did learn to speak English. Mani had holidays twice a year, and she always came to Baba. When I was going to Baba to Meherabad, the colors seemed brighter. Even the wheels of the train seemed to be saying Baba. It was thrilling for me to see the name Ahmednagar in big letters on the water tank at the railroad station. Even at home, whenever someone came from Baba, it was the next best thing to being with him. I used to be so excited when my sister-in-law was sent home for some work. I didn't want to go to school during those days. I didn't want to miss a single day of being with her, of talking to Baba. Hearing of life in the ashram, I tried to pretend I had a stomach ache, but it didn't work. Mother tried to give me castor oil. Once, before Baba began his silence, when Mani was 6, she had come to Meherabad to stay with the women for a few days. She had been given a sort of rosary and been told to take Baba's name. She had probably been talking too much and was given activity to keep her quiet. While repeating Baba's name, she was bitten by a scorpion and kept everyone up all night. She was allergic to the bite and cried. but not because the bite smarted. How could that scorpion bite me? She protested indignantly. I was taking Baba's name. Baba had sent this prasad especially for you, she was told. I always knew that Baba was God, Mani related, ever since I was a child. I knew as naturally as any child knows that this is a chocolate, this is an orange, this is a book. As natural as that, I knew he was God. He happens to be my brother. He's my brother who happens to be God. I was never modest about it. I was very aware, conscious of the fact my brother is God. Even her letters to Baba, written in Gujarati when she was 7, were very formal, filled with respect. Shireen Mai too would write deferentially to Baba as if he were an elder. Whatever you say, Mirag, I will carry out your orders. Mehra's birthday was celebrated at Meherabad for the first time in December 1925. When she was 18, Baba distributed jalebis, sweets, and tea. It was not done on a large scale, but in a small way among the women Mandali. Years later, when Mani was rummaging around in the trunk at Meherazad, she found a picture of Baba wearing a crown. On the back was inscribed, "Happy birthday to my dear Aunt Mehera. Forget me not," along with some of her poetry. Mehera and the other girls spent many hours making decorative items for Baba to wear. The first crown that they ever made for Baba was for his 32nd birthday in 1926. Kaikush Rumasa, who was a jeweler, had given Khorshid a white diamond and some red rubies. Khorshid brought the stones with her when she joined the ashram. And the girls got the idea to make a crown using these precious stones. We didn't want Baba to wear the diamond on his chest or around his neck, Mehera explained, as it would have looked too feminine. So we thought to put it in a crown. We used fake jewelry too, but this time we wanted Baba to wear something genuine. We made the crown with a star in the center and stitched the small diamond and tiny rubies onto the star. The crown is still at Meherabad in one of the trunks. Baba wore one other piece of genuine jewelry that day, a small ring that belonged to Mehera. Dalit Mai had given it to Mehera in Pune on her birthday. It was a delicate diamond-shaped ruby ring, embedded with pearls. Mehera had tried it on then, admired it, and put it away, since it was too valuable to be worn every day. When Dalit Mai's property was liquidated and their valuables brought to Baba, he asked Dalit Mai whose ring it was, and she told him it was Mehera's. Baba removed the ring from the jewelry to be sold and gave it back to Mehera, who put it in her trunk. On Baba's birthday, she remembered it and brought it out to give him. Since the ring was small in circumference, it only fit on her pinky finger.
Do you want to take a break, Rosalie? You've been reading for quite a while.
Yeah, I could take a break.
Okay. Eugene, you want to pick up?
Yes. A year earlier, Baba had given Mera a heart-shaped gold ring, and now she was delighted to give him one as well. Baba's hand looked so lovely with it on. He left it on for a while and afterwards gave it back. Besides the crown, the girls made several other items for Baba to wear that day. One was an artificial marquise ring with gold thread, false diamonds, and an emerald in the middle. On this and one other occasion, Mara made 3 necklaces for Baba, golden chains with almond-shaped teardrops. And they made anklets out of genuine gold thread that would not tarnish. Baba's feet were bare and looked so lovely on the divan at Meherabad with the tiny, dainty anklets. We also bought ready-made soles and attached embroidered straps to make gold sandals for Baba, which he wore. Upasni Maharaj would sometimes dress as a woman. So the author asked Mehera if they ever dressed Baba that way. She said no, but for one occasion, a sari around Baba's, She said no, but for one occasion, in 1927, when they were staying in the bathroom building, they had draped a sari around Baba's shoulders for fun. I never saw Baba wear earrings, though, Mehera said. In those early days, when the women were dressing up, preparing for such a function, being young and romantic, Mehera would imagine that it was her wedding and that she and Baba were getting married. At times, I did have those feelings, she confessed. The women could only take Baba's darshan on special occasions, like his birthday, and they never brought flowers. I don't remember ever garlanding Baba when we were in Lower Meherabad. For Baba's birthday in 1926, an embroidered sari of Mehera's was placed on Baba's gadi, the couch or divan, and there was a distribution of prasad inside Darbar. Baba handed out the prasad to the boys and men, and then the women were called. I loved Rawa, said Mehera, and that day it was the prasad, full of raisins and almonds. Baba was putting huge quantities of it on people's plates. Just looking at it made my mouth water. I felt more hungry. I went forward. Although Baba had been giving large portions to others, when I stood in front of him with my plate, he reached into the bagula, or the pot, with both hands. And on the ladle, he took out one tiny pinch and dropped it on my plate. It was like a pinch of snuff. I could barely see it. I was so disappointed. I didn't say anything. I just stood there staring at the speck on my plate. I didn't know whether to wait or go away or to go away. I hesitated, wondering, has Baba made a mistake? Baba said, don't you have a cough and cold? Rawa's not good for that. No, Baba, Mehera said. Not really, just a little sore throat. Ah, a sore throat. It's not good for that either. You shouldn't have any Rawa. But it's much better now. Pausing for a moment, Baba said, in that case, all right, have it, and ladled out a large portion. Baba liked to give a person a start. He was teasing me as he knew I craved the rawa. Naja said that she and Gulma had prepared the rawa that day, and they were afraid there would not be enough, as so many villagers had come. But not only did everyone get served, there was even quite a bit left over. Baba's miracle, they concluded. Baba's elder brother Jamshed died on 27 February 1926 of a sudden heart attack at the age of 33. Previously, Jamshed had been staying at Meherabad.
Hold on.
Previously, Jamshed had been staying at Meherabad in the ashram. Baba had warned him not to leave, but Jamshed had returned to Pune anyway. According to his cousin, Pendu, at the end, Jamshed was slightly crazed. Baba had called Jamshed's wife, Big Khorshid, to stay with the women at the post office for a few days. Jamshed, restive in Pune alone, went to the post office and lurked around the area, trying to have a glimpse of his wife. Baba gave him a hard slap because of it. Never do this again, Baba told him angrily. Jamshed's nature was hot-tempered, but he loved Baba.
I'm not sure where you are.
Oh, just keep scrolling down. But he loved Baba passionately. Baba sent Big Khorshid to stay with Jamshed at Dalamasi and Faridun Masa's house for a few days. And his sister Mani was also there when he died. When Baba was informed by his father of his brother's death, he was unaffected. He used the situation to give a discourse on the hypocrisy of grief over anyone's death, especially one such as Jamshed, who had died taking Baba's name and thus come to Baba eternally. Dalamasi returned to Meherabad, but she left soon afterwards. And Baba considered disbanding the women's ashram, as now who would oversee the cooking? It would be too much for Dalit Mai alone. Small Khorshid thought, if Baba closes the ashram, we won't have a chance to stay with him again. Although she herself did not know much about cooking, she told Mehera that they should ask Naja to accept the responsibility and that they would help her. Mehera agreed, and when they approached Naja, she mulled it over. Don't think about it, Khorshid said. Just say yes. We will help you as much as we can. Say yes. Naja came forward in front of Baba, and Khorshid said, Baba, Naja wants to tell you something. Naja told Baba, and he agreed. If you women continue to stay here, you will have to work hard. If you agree to do that, then stay. Otherwise, leave now. Besides, I don't really want women here.
Are you stopping?
No, I was just waiting for more scrolling.
Oh,
Oh, but thanks for reminding me. Why don't you take over, because there's 10 minutes left.
okay. During this time, Baba was completing his book, staying most of the time in the table cabin. but on 29th March, he moved to a small box-like cabin that had been built inside Darbar for those visitors who wished to meditate. There, Baba worked in seclusion. Meherabad in those days was not noisy. There were not many people or buses or cars on the road, so he was not disturbed. Baba was comfortable at Meherabad. Only a farmer or two passed by during the day. The sound of the train never disturbed us. We got used to it. It was a nice atmosphere. From 3rd May until the end of June, Baba moved into a room in the abandoned water reservoir on Meherabad Hill, across the railroad tracks. This was a stone structure built by the British Army, massive and fort-like. But the area where the water had been stored did not have a door to enter it, and Baba had to climb an iron ladder to a window high up. After the first 7 days he spent in seclusion, Baba wrote the book in the morning and made his usual rounds of inspection at Lower Meherabad in the afternoon, and went back to the tank in the evening to work on the book again. Oh, God. No, I lost my place. Oh, while he was at Lower Meherabad, we would peek at Baba through the tata while cooking. We would try to look at him all the time. When Baba crossed the railway line to walk up the hill, the women could not see him from inside their compound. Sometimes, however, Gustaji, who slept at on the post office veranda as a watchman, while Baba was up on the hill, would pass word through Dalit, girls, Baba is going up the hill. Then they would gather in the compound at the spot facing the railroad tracks, where there was a slight mound of dirt, enough to peer over the bamboo matting. What a commotion as they jostled for positions to see him. Excitedly, they would call to each other, and then their voices would carry to Baba, who would turn around. He would see their heads peeping over the tatas and wave. They would become even more excited and wave back. Then Baba would turn and continue walking up the hill in his white sadra. It was about 4:30 p.m., Mehera said. The sun was not quite setting. It shone through his open hair. It looked bright and beautiful, like a halo around him. He had no hat or shawl and carried no umbrella. Nadja observed, when Baba was going up the hill, it was as if Christ was walking again. He almost seemed to float on the air. Wistfully, small Khorshid too recalled those days. When he was leaving Lower Meherabad, we were all standing around waving to him. Baba turned back and also waved. He looked like a fairy in his sadra. Very beautiful scene. After a little while, after Baba climbed a little ways, He would turn around and see that the women were still there, their heads peeking over the barricade. Again, they would wave to him and he would wave back. He would walk further up the hill and turn up. He would walk further up and turn again and wave. There was no wall then around the reservoir on the hill, and they could see Baba climb the iron ladder and enter his room. And the sidebar says, when out in the sun, Baba sometimes folded a towel 4 times around and tied it around his head. I'll continue. He looked so tiny, Mehera recalled. We must have looked equally tiny to him. Right from the top of the ladder, Baba waved to us, signaling and motioning that it was enough now. Then he climbed through the biggish window-like opening and into a huge, bare, dark room where he spent the night. Khorshid added nostalgically, when I remember the days we spent in Meherabad with Baba, it is like a dream to me. It was such a happy time, such peace of mind. What enthusiasm for doing everything we had. Now it seems like some good dream. On 20 September, Mehera's uncle, Colonel Mirwan S. Irani, paid an unexpected visit to Meherabad. He arrived at 7:30 in the morning in his own car. Baba was with the Mandali in the old Dharamshala and sent word inside to the post office through Padre to tell Daulat Mai and Mehera to come out and meet the colonel. Mehera and her mother walked from the post office to the main road, where he was standing by his car holding a cane. They had been cooking and were wearing old sandals, their ordinary crumpled cotton saris, long-sleeved blouses stained with dal, and the mathu banu. We looked so strange to a man who appreciated the finer things in life. Colonel Irani was a man who appreciated the finer things in life, particularly fashionable clothes. Most of the colonel's friends were in Aden, were Europeans, and he was always dressed in the latest style. He looked askance at his sister and her daughter, and he did not like what he saw. They greeted each other, and incredulous, the colonel gestured toward the desolate countryside and asked, "You are staying here?" "Yes," she said calmly. "But how can you stand it here? I don't see any houses or bungalows. There is nothing in this godforsaken wilderness. Where do you live? How do you stay out of the way? How do you stay in this out of the way jungle, uninhabited area with this young girl?" "I like staying here," Daulat Mai informed him. Colonel asked a few more questions and then said, "Daulat, I've come especially for you. I've brought this car especially for you. Even now, you can come back with me to Pune. It doesn't look good for a young girl to stay here. I will see to Mara's marriage and get her settled in a nice home. Trying to persuade his sister, he promised, I will look after you. I will provide you with whatever you need and you and your daughter need. He tried his best to convince Dowlat Mai to go with him, but she remained firm. Baba was testing her. She loved her brother dearly. Would Maya be able to pull her away? She told him tenderly, Merwan, thank you for your concern, but we are quite happy here. Mera wants to stay. The colonel tried again. He never raised his voice or shouted. He tried sweet reason instead. There are so many men around Meher Baba. It isn't a proper place to stay. Soon, say you will agree to come with me and stay with me in Pune. If not now, soon. When Dowlat Mai again said no, the colonel was disappointed and was very, very upset. All right, he said, exasperated. You won't listen to me. So this is my last attempt to dissuade you. I won't bother you again. I don't know if we will ever meet again. Recalled Mera. Mother was quiet. She loved her brother, but she loved Baba more. Colonel Irani returned to Pune and continued writing highly derogatory articles about Baba. Adi Sr. brought him a newspaper with the colonel's latest diatribe against Baba and read it to him. Baba said to give it to Dowlat Mai. Padri took it to her, and when she read it, she was so shocked and hurt that she was close to tears. Her own brother that she loved so much was writing awful things about her master. After a few minutes, Baba called her. Did you read it? Yes, Baba. I'm so sorry. I don't know what to do. Don't worry. This is my key. I have turned the key so that he writes against me. It is good. Your brother is doing my work. If today anyone in Pune is told who I am, Sadguru or perfect master, they wouldn't believe it. They won't have conviction. So they like to hear these things against me. From house to house they are saying my name, even in gossip, it is beneficial to them. Let them say whatever they like. My divinity is unchanging, no matter how much opposition there is. Whatever anyone says about me cannot make me less than what I am. Don't worry, Baba concluded. A time will come when from every corner, people who are now talking and writing against me will come to my darshan. Dowlat Mai was relieved. She felt so much better. She and the other women had come to stay with Baba. Those in Pune were given more fuel for gossip. This too worried her. Let them talk, Baba said. We know we are not doing anything wrong. He told his mother the same thing. Shireen Mai had once come to Meherabad and said, it's all right for you, Meherab, staying in Meherabad, surrounded by your followers, but I have to live in Pune. I can't go anywhere because people talk. Do you know what terrible things people say about you? Crooking his finger in all directions, Baba said, they will come from every corner to have my darshan. Nevertheless, Dowlet, Mai, and Mera felt very sad that for their sakes Baba's name was being dragged through the mud. Baba told them not to worry at all. It was so sad that poor Baba had to have his name in the papers and go through that, said Mera. We felt terrible because of our following him. Baba was called such bad names. Dowlet Mai felt responsible for her brother's actions, but Baba told her, Colonel Irani has great connection with me. And the sidebar, Baba's words proved correct. When 30 years later, many of the same Iranis and their descendants came to Guru Prasad for his darshan. So we're at page 183. $193.
I met Colonel Irani.
You did?
Yeah, he was, he passed away and he was born into a Baba lover family. One of Baram, Baba's brother Baram, had I think her name is Gulnar, and their son, and I met him in Los Angeles. It was just funny when I found out who he was.
Oh,
Baba,
so he was reincarnated as
yeah, in Baba's family, actually.
interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know how to turn this recording off. Let's see.